I'd like to call this meeting of the Coralville Planning and Zoning Commission to order. Dee, would you please take the roll?
Snyder?
You want to wait for just a second before you take the roll?
Snyder?
Here.
Wen?
Here.
Taylor?
Here.
Wenman?
Here.
Aaron's?
Here.
Fessler?
Here.
And Wilson? Here.
Okay, we have an agenda this evening, if everybody has had a chance to go over the agenda. And I would ask for a motion to approve that.
So moved. Second.
Moved by Aaron's, second by Wynn. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the agenda passes. And has everyone had a chance to read the minutes from the March 6th meeting?
Yep.
I'd entertain a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
So moved.
Moved by Molly or Wilson,
Seconded.
seconded by Aaron's. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. The minutes will stand approved. Our first item on the agenda this evening is a public hearing request by JRC Development LLC, and it's for the approval of the C-PUD-B site plan of Crossings Commons, Part 2, Lot 1, and the public hearing is open. Any of you who are speaking, would you please sign your name? And there's a sheet there. And then also state your name whenever you're ready.
Madam Chair, members of the commission, Eric Cannon, 2727 Southwest Snyder Boulevard in Ankeny, Iowa, here on behalf of Snyder Associates. We are the consulting engineer on the project before you tonight. We do also have a representative from Down in Construction here who is the general contractor if you guys do have any specific questions relative to the building as well. But before you tonight, we have a development of the property at 1140 Kennedy Parkway. And what we are presenting tonight is a new 3-story assisted living and memory care facility that's proposed on the project. There's 56 assisted living units, 20 memory care units in a 3-story building. And I don't know which.
Pull up any elevation or plan view that you like.
Okay. I think maybe just a plan view of the site, and we can kind of just generally walk through that a little bit there. So yeah, so today the site is open space. There's some trees. There's a big ravine on the north side. The cooperative project's just to the west of here. I think that's great. That many of you may be familiar with there, that went in with the extension of Vintage Boulevard. So this is just to the east of that. It has frontage on Camp Cardinal Road as well as Kennedy Parkway. They may be flipping to the site. So what we're really filling in here is kind of that open space portion of the property is what we're proposing. It's a roughly 37,000 square foot building consisting of 3 stories. The first story is underground parking for a portion of the building. There are 31 parking stalls there. And then that northern wing, that east-west northern wing of the building is also residential units. We're calling that the garden level. The site has a lot of relief to it. So really what we're doing is kind of almost a reverse walkout. You're going to drive into the underground parking garage off of Kennedy. And then the parking lot on the west kind of ramps up to the first floor entrance on the west side of the building with kind of that elevation change transitioning from Kennedy Parkway up to the building. So we do have surface parking stalls on the west side. There's a one-way drive that then loops through the site and then ties into the existing drive on the co-op project. And that would allow full access back out to Vintage Boulevard and then down to Kennedy for kind of that loop connection from a drive standpoint. The building itself, thank you. I think that gives you a really good perspective of kind of what we're talking about. So you can see how you go into the underground parking garage there off of Kennedy, and then you drive up into the site. So that initial, can you maybe flip back to that last one? So that initial kind of two-story component right there, right along Kennedy, there is stone and then architectural siding. We have windows in there. And then we do kind of have a material break and a lot of architectural elements as you do come up to the front of the building there. I think maybe flip to that next slide. So a very, I'd say, high quality, high architectural character building here that provides a nice entrance and feature. So this is kind of the main entrance to the building here. This is where all the residents will come in. This is where the main office area will be for the facility. So continue to flip around. We do have, then this is looking back south at the building. That's kind of the north face. You can see how that starts to step down the grade as we head to the east. And then this is looking at the east side of the building. We have windows. That's kind of a faux area with windows there. That is actually the underground parking garage, but it was important to staff to give it an architectural character, give it a residential feel. So we do have some windows in there. You'll see a bump out there about 2/3 of the way up the east side. That's an amenity deck off of the kitchen area, just to provide a nice feature, some nice open space and kind of a patio. This is that east wing that protrudes east. As you can see, this is all down. Those are actual residential units there on the main level, and then residential units as you go up. So really that banding, that architectural theme is continued throughout the entire structure. And there's that bump out again with kind of that deck area there off of the kitchen. So overall, I think a very, very attractive building, high quality, high architectural character. We've had a great experience working with Jim and his staff to work through all the design components. Yeah, this is an updated elevation there on the east side that we just sent in, kind of working through some of those windows. Maybe flip back to the actual site plan, if you could. Kind of just walk through some of the stormwater components. So there's the building. You can see the drive aisles. We click one more.
The grading plan?
Yeah, so from a stormwater management standpoint, working with staff, kind of the site, most of the site does actually drain north into that ravine. A lot of concerns with stormwater runoff, erosion, stability of that slope. So we are managing all of our stormwater through a series of bioretention cells on site, south of that east-west leg, and then down along Kennedy Parkway. They're all interconnected. They're all handling water quality, channel protection volume, and stormwater detention before tying into the storm sewer system on Kennedy Parkway. So we've been working with Amy and her team to work through all of those components. Maybe just flip to the landscaping plan. So we will provide headlight parking screening there along all those stalls on the west on our property to screen any of those parking stalls adjacent to the cooperative drive aisle. And then we do have a couple pedestrian connections just to provide that connectivity between the two sites. We have foundation plantings all along the bookend portion of the building along Kennedy Parkway, because that was a visible area that staff wanted to make sure was screened and had a very high quality and aesthetic character to it from a landscape standpoint. We do have a bunch of foundation plantings up along the main entrance portion of the building as well. With that said, I guess I'd be happy to answer any questions or comments that you guys have.
How many units?
Sorry, I said that at the beginning. 56 assisted living and 20 memory care units.
So you mentioned the 36 parking spaces below.
31 below, and surface we have 26 more, I believe. 36 more?
26.
Yep, 26.
So this building completely separate from the existing Vantage Co-op?
Yes, yep, completely independent.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you
Mr.
very much.
Baker.
And I'll be here if you guys have anything else that comes up at all.
Is there anyone else to speak to this project?
My name is Richard Johns, and I am the board president of Vintage Cooperative of Coralville, which is the property directly across the street from this proposed facility. And I'm here representing the board of directors and the residents of that facility. We have 59 residential units and 90-plus occupants in our building. And many of us who purchased and got into the Vintage Cooperative program did so with the idea that we would have access to assisted living and memory care. And so we are very excited and supportive of this project and look forward to it becoming a reality as soon as possible. We have already had, within the less than 2 years we've been in existence, 2 residents who had to leave to find living accommodations elsewhere because of their health conditions. And if this facility had been in existence, they would have been able to move directly across the street rather than searching elsewhere within the Iowa City Coralville community. So we definitely are very supportive and interested in this project. We have had this presentation to our membership within the last month, so we're well aware of what's in the development process. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else to speak to this? Okay, we'll declare the public hearing closed. I will consider a motion to approve the C-PUD-B site plan.
So moved.
Moved by Wayman,
Second.
second by Laura. I'm sorry.
That's either one.
Was you? Okay, I'm sorry. I just heard it from this side. Is there any discussion, any questions?
No, I think when this original property, the whole area came up 3 years ago, probably, Lynn, or so, the assisted living was one of those topics I was in here, so it's good to see it show up.
Yeah.
And I applaud the developer for talking further with the neighbors prior to. That's good. I like that.
Roll call, do we need a roll call on this? No. Okay. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay, it passes 6-0. Thank you for being here. Okay, we'll go on to the next item, which is a public hearing request by Watts Group Construction for the approval of the C-PUD-B site plan of Riverview Plaza, Part 2, Lot 3. Public hearing is open. Is there anyone here to speak to this?
Since I stuck around, I might as well get up and take up a little bit of your time. Dwayne Musser with Watts Group. I believe Jim will present everything, but if you do have any questions about the project at all, I'd be happy to answer those. Thank you.
Any questions? You don't have anything else to add?
No.
Okay. Well, we'll declare the public hearing closed, and I will consider a motion to approve the C-PUD-B site plan of Riverview Plaza, Part 2, Lot 3.
So moved.
Moved by Aaron's.
Second. Lauren, I'll fight over again.
Second by Laura. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Discussion?
Pardon me? Oh, I'm sorry. Is there any discussion or questions?
We probably should let Jim have his time to explain
Yeah.
to us.
Since, Bush Gentleman did such a good job, I let Dwayne come up and speak about his too, but I'll do it for you, so. Actually, this is the Riverview Plaza development along First Avenue, which is at the location of the old Brisky Cabinet, those buildings that were along First Avenue. This is the third building of the development. You can see the first building is already up, Lebanon mattresses in there, so, and there's apartments occupied above that because the buildings are ground level retail, and then upper level their apartment units. So the second building up there along First Avenue is under construction now and moving along very well. So what we're looking at tonight is the third building, which is that building there, which is a actual 4-story building. The ground level of that building is parking, inside parking, and then there's 3 levels of apartment above it. So there's 45 units above the ground level parking. Architecture is basically the same. I think we do probably have a picture of it on there, but the architecture is basically the same. Oh, it's different than that one.
Oh, let me look at the other PDF.
Yeah, we may not have it. Anyhow, the architecture is a little different because of the ground,
This
there we
one?
go. Because of the ground level parking. But, and then the ground level parking, if you look at the ground level parking, you can see windows in it, but those are blacked out windows. It's just in there for architectural enhancement to make it look more like an occupied level rather than just a parking garage. So it is different than the other building, but there's no retail in this building. This is strictly residential use. Like I say, there's 45 apartments in this building. So along with that, we get, and Scott can probably speak better about the what's going on up on 4th Street up there. And
Sure.
You can kind of see in the bottom left-hand corner there, right in there, right now, because we didn't have any other outlet for the stormwater retention, right now there is a stormwater retention basin there, so there's kind of a pond right in there. But that will go away because now we'll have access to go to the west to a stormwater pumping station, and Scott can probably elaborate on that better than I can. But that will go away, and then we will get the amenity that we've always looked for there, which is, just an outdoor amenity, maybe a pagoda or something like that, but it will be an outdoor amenity for the folks that live there, so. That's all I can say.
Yeah, I was just going to mention real quick, this is one of those developments that's behind our new flood protection. So flood berm, permanent flood walls that cross First Avenue. And that area of Old Town Coralville is served by the stormwater pump station located over here to the west. So the water from this site primarily does want to drain straight south to Clear Creek, but now we have a flood berm there, so the water has to be diverted off to the west and will be piped from Riverview Plaza directly over to what we call stormwater pump station number 9. And then back to the site plan here. So as you may know, 4th Street is currently one-way coming off of First Avenue, and our goal is ultimately to return that to a two-way street. I believe we turned it into a one-way street shortly after Riverview Square was constructed. And so to just facilitate movement from Old Town Coralville and also Riverview Plaza to First Avenue, we think it's important to reestablish both two-way vehicular traffic, but provide a sidewalk connection as well. So you can see here on the site plan, there is a sidewalk along the north side of this building. We're still working out the details from the previous submittal because that was not a requirement at that time. And so we're going to look at getting sidewalk extended to First Avenue. And then ultimately, there will be some reconstruction of the intersection at Clark Drive and 2nd Avenue to kind of make this look more like an actual two-way street. Right now, it'll remain one-way, though.
That's all I have.
Any other questions? Okay, I'll consider a motion to approve. Shall we have that? It's on the table? All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Now you can-
Thanks, Wayne. The last item on our agenda this evening is a public hearing request by Iowa River Arena Hotel Associates LLC for the approval of an amended C-PUD-B site plan of the Staybridge Suites at Iowa River Landing, Part 9, Lot 2. Public hearing is open.
Picture up for that.
I can open it.
There should be one in there.
Seeing no one here, we'll close it. And I will entertain a motion to consider approval of the amended C-PUD-B site plan for Iowa River Landing, Part 9, Lot 2.
So moved.
Moved by Laura, second by,
Snyder, that's fine.
This one?
second by Lynn.
Snyder.
I'm sorry, Wynn, I'm sorry. I just heard it come from there. Questions or discussion?
Okay, I
He's pulling
apologize, I
up
guess I
the-
didn't put this up on there, but
This is just a checklist here.
the only.
I'm in the wrong folder,
Well,
Jim.
Scott, pull up the, yeah, just go to combine and just pull up the image of the hotel as it is.
Okay, this is from last July. Is that,
Hmm?
this file's from last July, though.
Oh, there should be one in there with the amendment file on it. But anyhow, the reason to amend this is strictly is around the hotel. The hotel as it is ground level of retail, second floor of office building, 3 floors of hotel rooms, rental rooms above it. What the arena has is they want to add a 6th story to the building. And on that 6th story would be 15 apartment units above the hotel. So what they're doing is just lifting up the hotel. You know, you just lift it up, straighten it up, and there's another story to it. It'll look exactly like the hotel looks now. Architecture is the same, nothing changes. It just grows a floor. And there's apartments up there. Oh, man, there's one in there.
Part 9.
Yeah, part 9. There you go.
This is just the checklist, though. It's the same
Oh,
as the other
yes.
file.
We don't have anything on this, do we?
No, you don't have anything because I don't have anything.
Okay, so.
I have the original hotel. I've asked for a color rendition of it, and the architect doesn't have it ready yet. We're working with an architect out of, keep going on that one.
This is just
Out
arena.
of North Dakota, and they don't quite have it ready for us yet, but all we're doing is adding 1 floor.
And more parking,
Pardon me?
and more parking.
There will be more parking to accommodate that in the future.
They're gonna
yes.
have more parking, or we don't have a site plan that says whether or not it allows more parking or
There is
not, right?
there is no parking showing on the site plan for the arena and the hotel at all. It will come with a future parking ramp, and then for the hotel, to the south of the hotel, there will be until we get the parking facility and the parking ramp, there will be a temporary parking lot built for the hotel.
I just have a question about whether adding another floor and more parking problems down there, and we haven't seen it, so, I don't know why we're voting on something we're not getting any information on.
The only information that we have for it is that they're adding, and only thing I have is they're adding a floor. I mean, we're working with the engineers and what have you to beef up the foundation for the floor, but other than that, the site plan hasn't changed from the one you already approved. It stays the same. The only difference in the amendment is the addition of a 6th story to the hotel. And there you go, Scott. So this is the hotel as it is today, as it was approved, and you folks have already seen this and approved this, so the only thing that happens is there's 1 more floor goes on this hotel. And it looks just exactly like the top floor of the hotel, only it's apartments. Materials are the same, architecture is the same. I don't have anything new to show you since the site plan.
I
nothing has
said,
changed.
we just, we don't have anything, and that's why I kind of wonder why we vote on something that we don't know
Well,
what it is.
because none of that has changed. The only thing that's changed is
Other than it's
the
got a whole
hotel.
nother floor.
Pardon me?
Other than it's got a whole
Other
nother
than
floor and more
it's got a
parking.
whole new
So I
floor.
just kind of curious. So I've been a little curious about the issue of parking down there anyway. And this just adds, 15 more parking spots that nobody has addressed really. So,
And I don't have anything to show you for that.
I know, I
Do you
just,
know anything about bedrooms, like per unit, as far as 15 apartments?
Pardon me?
If it's gonna be apartments, is there a specific amount of bedrooms per apartment that you're looking, is it gonna be, one, kind of like in hotels, or are they gonna be larger apartments?
I think there's a combination of apartments. There's a combination of 1, 2, and 3
Okay.
bedroom apartments up there. That's as much as I know. I know we're adding an elevator into the building to handle those, to get the people up to those apartments, other than the stairways that are already there. And the elevators that are already there will not go past the top floor of the hotel, so we're adding the elevator for the apartments. But other than that, other than just making the building taller, that's all there is to it. It hasn't changed anything on the site plan. Site plan stays the same for the arena and the building along 9th Street and the hotel. This is actually a view from East 2nd Avenue, the extension of East 2nd Avenue at the entrance to the hotel. The little, which we've looked at all this before, but the lower level, just the more or less 2-story level there is just a rooftop area for the hotel guests. And I think there'll be a green roof component to it. And then below that, of course, you have the hotel. So, that's, what I'm showing you is all I have.
their site plan for that was a 5-story building, and now our site plan is a 6-story building, so it's really not the same site plan that we voted on before. It's different.
It's
So-
different because we added a story.
Now, it's not what we had passed the first time as a site plan. But, no, I honestly, I have a hard time voting in favor of something that I don't know what it is.
And we are amending the site plan, and the component of the site plan that we're amending is the hotel and the addition to the hotel. We're not amending any of the outside site around this hotel at all. It all stays the same as what was previously approved. We are amending the site plan because the hotel is part of that site plan, but the only component
And
of that
I
site
understand
plan
where you're at,
exists.
I just can't, I'm not comfortable with voting in favor of something that I don't know what it is.
Well, how much, what more can we show you?
Well, we don't know how many bedrooms it is, we don't know how many parking spaces it's gonna need, we don't know, basically, we have the layout, but we don't have any of the details that go with it.
Well, and when we're looking at a site plan, we generally don't have the interior, of the buildings layouts yet.
Well, I guess usually they
Because
tell us what
when
size
we're looking
building
at a
it's
site
gonna
plan,
be.
we're looking at the outside.
Oh, we're looking at what it looks like from the outside?
Yeah, we've
Yeah.
never looked, I don't think when you approved the hotel, you ever saw an actual hotel room.
Well, we knew what size it was, we knew how many stories it was, and how many
Well-
parking spots it needed. And we don't know that now.
Well, we have 15 apartments up there. If you want to put the most we would ask for those 15 units is a space and a half per unit, and we probably would go down to a space a unit because, well, we did for the hotel, but for the apartments, the most we would ask is a space and a half per unit for parking. So there's 15 units, so you'd have.
And I really honestly, 6 stories probably isn't that big a deal, I just, sometimes it's like we just don't get any information. And sometimes it's, I didn't know what this was until we got here. And then add another unit, but that's okay, I won't take up any more time.
I'm sorry?
We've talked about that a couple of times. What is the plan for the addition of parking ramp?
I don't have a schedule for the addition of the parking ramp. Maybe Scott
Yeah,
has
I
more
can-
information than I do, but now I don't think we have a time frame.
Yeah, I don't have a schedule on the parking ramp itself, but there is a large parking ramp planned immediately across the west side of the street from East 2nd Avenue. That would
Yeah, back
be,
behind the jewelry, right? Wasn't that kind of the plan-ish?
yeah, to the east, even though it wouldn't be interconnected with the ramp that's south of the Drury Inn. But the proposed parking ramp would be part of the second proposed UIHC clinic. And so that ramp would serve multiple purposes.
It's like the current one does.
And it would serve the arena as well during events, as will many other parking areas in the IRL.
Will the tenants in the apartments and condos have a separate elevator than the people who are staying in the hotel?
They do.
Okay.
The hotel elevators don't go past the hotel floors, and then they put another elevator in that will take the people to their apartments, as well as the stairways that are existing that they can have access to. The stairways will go on up.
So they're two separate shafts, or?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And the only people who have access to that elevator that goes to the 6th floor will be the residents up there?
Yes.
Okay.
When we're there, that'll be key. They'll have a card, or they'll have a fob, or they'll have something that'll activate, that'll get them in that elevator. The hotel guests won't. Well, it won't stop at every floor anyhow.
Sure.
It's only going to be on the ground floor in the apartments.
You like an express,
Pardon me?
an express elevator?
Yeah.
Anyone else? Okay, do we need a roll call on this, dear? Can we?
Yeah, you can ask for a roll call on this one, sure.
Okay.
Winman,
Aye.
Wilson,
Aye.
Taylor,
Aye.
Wynn,
Aye.
Aaron's,
Aye.
Fessler,
Aye.
and Snyder.
No.
Okay. That's the end of our agenda. Is there anything else anyone else has? I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Moved by Aaron.
Second.
Second by Wilson. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.